Hi there, welcome to my channel. You can call me Ava. And today's story is Dark Seductress, between love and corruption. Do you ever feel like your life is a series of unfortunate events? Like no matter what you do, everything just goes wrong? Well, this time I have a story for you that will make you feel like everything is going right. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. I was born into a wealthy family and had everything that I could ever want. Except for one thing, a loving family. My parents were too busy with their careers to give me the attention that I needed. And as a result, I grew up feeling abandoned and alone. I was always searching for something or someone to fill the void in my heart. And when I found it, oh man, let me tell you, it was worth the wait. My mother never liked my choices of men. She always said that I should date men who were more successful than me, but I never listened. I mean, why should I? I didn't need anyone's help to get ahead in life. But when she saw Sebastian for the first time, her opinion changed completely. He was a famous Hollywood actor and a true charmer. We met at a party, and I couldn't take my eyes off him. There was just something about him that drew me in. Something that made me feel like I was the only girl in the room. And as the weeks went by, I couldn't shake the feeling that he was the one. But there was a problem. I knew that my mother would never approve of him. In fact, she had already made it clear that she didn't like him. So I kept our relationship a secret for a while, meeting him in secret and stealing moments together whenever we could. It was exciting and dangerous at the same time. I felt like we were living on the edge, and I loved it. He was everything that I had ever wanted in a man. He was handsome, charming, and successful, and he treated me like a princess. We traveled to exotic locations, stayed in luxurious hotels, and met interesting people. It was a whirlwind romance, and I couldn't believe how lucky I was. But as time went on, I began to notice a change in Sebastian. He was always working, always surrounded by people, and I felt like I was losing him to his career. He was also distant and secretive sometimes, and I couldn't help but wonder what he was hiding from me. One day I decided to confront him about it. I told him that I felt like we were growing apart and that I needed him to make some changes. But instead of trying to fix things, he did something that I never expected. He broke up with me. I was devastated. I couldn't believe that he would break up with me after everything that we had been through. I felt betrayed and heartbroken, and I didn't know what to do. But as the days turned into weeks and the pain didn't go away, I realized that I needed to move on. I had to pick up the pieces and move on with my life. So I did what any reasonable person would do. I took a long vacation and tried to distract myself with partying and shopping. But no matter what I did, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was incomplete. That's when I decided to do something crazy. I went online and hired a private investigator to follow Sebastian and find out what he was up to. I know it sounds crazy, but I was desperate to know the truth. And as it turns out, I was in for a big surprise. The private investigator told me that Sebastian had been cheating on me with a co-star. And not just with one woman, but with several. I was shocked. I couldn't believe that he would do this to me after all that we had been through. But I was also angry. Angry that he had lied to me, angry that he had betrayed me, and angry that he had broken my heart. But instead of wallowing in self-pity, I decided to use my anger to my advantage. I started planning my revenge. And let me tell you, it was epic. First, I contacted the woman that he was cheating on me with, and told her that I knew everything. I wanted her to know that I wasn't going to take this lying down. Then I went to the media and spilled all the beans about Sebastian. I told them everything that I knew about his cheating, about how he had been lying to me, and about how he had treated me. And as you can imagine, the media went wild. They published everything that I told them, and Sebastian's reputation was ruined. His movies were taken off the theaters. His sponsors dropped him like a hot potato, and he lost millions of dollars. But that wasn't enough for me. Primer agua, nented more. So I decided to go after his family. I found out where his parents lived, and I sent them a letter telling them what their son had done. I wanted them to know that he wasn't the perfect guy that they thought he was. I also went after his friends and colleagues, telling everyone I knew about Sebastian's cheating and his lies. But as I was doing all this, I couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. I was taking the man who had broken my heart and bringing him down to my level. I was making him feel the same pain that he had caused me, and it was exhilarating. But as the months went by, I began to realize that I had made a mistake. I had hurt innocent people along the way, people who didn't deserve it, and I had become the very thing that I had hated about Sebastian, a liar and a cheater. I had betrayed my own morals and values, and I was disgusted with myself. But there was no turning back now. I had gone too far, and as I looked around me, I realized that I was all alone. I had lost everything in my quest for revenge. My friends, my family, and even myself. I was a shadow of my former self, and I hated who I had become. But in the end, maybe that's what happens when you play with fire. You either get burned, or you learn how to control the flames. And as for Sebastian, well, let's just say that karma is a bitch. One day I got a call from a lawyer telling me that Sebastian had been involved in a serious car accident. Apparently, he had been driving under the influence and crashed into a tree. The lawyer told me that Sebastian was in a coma and that his family was considering taking him off life support. I was shocked. I couldn't believe that this was happening. I mean, karma is a bitch, right? But when I heard that his family was considering taking him off life support, I knew that I had to do something. I rushed to the hospital and told them that I was his fiancée. Yes, I lied. I told them that we were engaged because I knew that if they heard that I was just some random girl who had been in a one-night stand with Sebastian, they wouldn't let me near him. But once I was by his bedside, I knew that I had made the right decision. I couldn't bear the thought of losing him, even after everything that he had done to me. I told his family that I would take care of him, and that they didn't have to worry about a thing. And they believed me. After all, who would break up with a man like Sebastian, a man who was fighting for his life? And so I became the primary caregiver, spending hours by his bedside reading him poetry, talking to him about my day, and even singing him songs. And slowly but surely, he began to wake up. At first it was just a slight movement of his fingers, or a twitch of his eyelashes. But then he started moving his arms and legs, and eventually he opened his eyes. When he saw me there, his face lit up with recognition, and he tried to speak. "Ava," he whispered. "How are you? Here." I smiled sadly, and told him. I told his family that we were engaged. He nodded slowly, and then he asked me, "Do you hate me?" I hesitated for a moment before answering. "No, I don't hate you. Not anymore." He reached out and took my hand in his, and I could feel the tears in his eyes. "I'm sorry for everything that I did to you, Ava. I never meant to hurt you." I squeezed his hand and told him, "It's okay. I understand." And in that moment, I knew that I had made the right decision. Even though I still loved Sebastian with all my heart, I knew that I couldn't forgive him for what he had done. I couldn't forget the pain that he had caused me, the betrayal, the heartbreak, the humiliation. But when I saw him lying there helpless and vulnerable, I couldn't bear to leave him. I knew that if I walked away, he would die. And maybe that was my mistake. Maybe I should have let him go. But I didn't. Instead, I stayed by his side day and night, taking care of him, feeding him, and comforting him. And as the weeks went by, something amazing happened. I fell in love with him all over again. But this time, it was different. This time, I didn't ignore the red flags. This time, I didn't excuse his bad behavior. And this time, I didn't settle for less. This time I loved him for who he was, flaws and all. And as he recovered and began to walk again, I knew that we were meant to be. But there was a problem. I was still married to Raphael. Yes, I had never filed for divorce. And when Raphael found out that I was taking care of Sebastian, he was furious. He threatened to take away my children if I didn't come back to him. But I refused. I couldn't live a life where I had to choose between my husband and my true love. And so I decided to fight for Sebastian. I fought for my love, for my happiness, and for my future. And in the end, I won. Today, Sebastian and I are happily married. We have 2 beautiful children together, and we couldn't be happier. I know that our love story isn't a fairy tale. We've had our ups and downs, our fights, and our arguments. But through it all, our love has only grown stronger. I'm not gonna lie to you. There are still times when I think about what could have been. Times when I wonder if things would have been different if I hadn't found out about his infidelity. But then I look at Sebastian and our children, and I know that I made the right decision. I chose love over fear, trust over doubt, and hope over despair. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. So if you're out there thinking about giving up on love, don't. If you're out there thinking that you'll never find someone who loves you as much as you love them, don't. Just hold on a little longer, because you never know what tomorrow may bring. You might just find someone who makes you feel like you're on top of the world. Someone who makes you laugh, who challenges you, who supports you, and who loves you unconditionally. Someone who makes you want to be a better person. Someone who makes you feel like you can conquer anything. And if you're lucky enough to find that person, don't let them go. Hold on to them with all your might, because they're worth it. They're worth the wait, the heartache, and the tears. Thank you for listening to my story. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe for more content. And if you have a story to share, please send it to the email provided below. Until next time, take care, and remember, love always wins in the end.